All right, so this activity is called Paper Pets. And what you're going to need is you're going to need two of the sheets that you see here. Um, so if you're working by yourself, you'll use these yourself. If you're working with a partner, then you only need two, one for each of you or however you're going to do. These sheets represent the parents in our Paper Pet family that we are making here. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you're actually going to cut out this paper pet here along the dark outline that you have. Okay, you can put your name here, put your pet's name there. Okay, now you do need to decide which one's going to be male and which one's going to be female. So that is kind of important. Then what you're going to do is under gender, okay, right here, you're going to write well, under phenotype, you would put either male or female. Now, with gender for male, you would put XY, capital Y for a male, that is your genotype, and then for a female, you use capital X, capital X. Okay, so that will go here. So either capital X female, or capital X, capital Y male there for your male or for your parent paper pets. Then we have these other traits, color, eyes, nose, teeth. All right, and these are the options. We have, for color, we have dominant allele is green and recessive is yellow with a little g. Eyes, dominant is round with a capital R and square is recessive with a lowercase r. The nose, triangular is dominant with a capital T versus oval with a lowercase t. And then teeth, blunt is dominant and pointed is recessive. Okay, but there are some rules that you have to follow. And you can pick whichever trait that you want. So one trait must be heterozygous, or in other words, hybrid, for each pet. So pick one of the traits, whether it's color, eyes, nose, or teeth, and one of those has to be heterozygous for both of your parent pets. For another trait, one of them has to be pure dominant for one and heterozygous for the other. So let's say here that for the first checkbox here, I picked nose. And I said, okay, my nose is going to be heterozygous for both of my pets. So I can't use nose then for the second one. I have to pick one of the other three. A different trait has to be homozygous recessive for one and heterozygous for the other. And then the last trait will be homozygous dominant for one and homozygous recessive for the other. So once you figure that out, and it doesn't matter which pet you make which on these ones that have a choice. So it doesn't matter if you make the female the homozygous dominant and then the male heterozygous or the other way around. You just have to have one of each, for instance, in that. So as you do that, as you pick those traits, you're going to, and assign it to them, you're going to, for the genotype, I should see the combination of, like big G's and little g's here for color. And then phenotype, remember, is your physical appearance. So based on what is here, what color skin will this paper pet have? Based on what genotype is here, what kind of eyes what will we see on this paper pet? Okay. Once you are done with that, then you're going to take this paper pet and you're actually going to glue it to either green or yellow paper, depending on what this phenotype is here for the color, and then you're going to cut it out. Okay, on the cutout side of the color, you're actually going to sketch these different features. So if it has round eyes, you'll draw the round eyes. If it's got a triangular nose, you'll draw that. Same thing with the teeth. So you're going to give it the characteristics that it's supposed to have. Okay. Then if your pet is female, you're going to draw a curl on its forehead, like right here. And if it's a male, you're going to draw like some straight lines. You can kind of give it almost like a buzz cut if you want. Okay. In terms of decoration, you can make clothes. Some people do this so that the whole thing is like a head. That's up to you. Other people say, well, the head part's here, and then these are arms, and these are kind of legs, and so they draw clothes on them or whatever. So however you choose to do that is really up to you. Now, once you have your parents set, then you're going to actually make some babies. okay? These 4 little babies that you've got, okay? So in order to do that, we have to do some crosses. Excuse me. So the 2 parents, the 2 big ones that you have, they have mated and they have produced 4 offspring. So for each trait below, you're going to fill in the Punnett square for your cross. So for instance, we're going to do a cross here based on gender. We know that one of them has to be XX for the female and the other one has to be XY for the male. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a Punnett square over here for those 4 offspring. Now, in this case, we know the genotypes because we know that one of our big paper pets is female and the other one has to be male. So all we have to do for this one is literally separate it on the Punnett square. So we could put X here and X here for the female and X here and Y here for the male. It doesn't matter which pet you put across the top or which pet you put across the side. But then we fill in our Punnett square. So we have these 2 are XX, XX. This one is XY, XY. So with our babies, we know that 2 of them are going to be female, and then 2 of them are going to be male, because we have two of these are XX, and these 2 are XY. Then what you're going to do is you're going to do the cross for color. So what I want you to write right here is the parents. So you have to look at them. You know, what are the 2 parents? Is it, I'm just going to use an example, is it big G crossed with little g? Do I have the homozygous dominant and homozygous recessive? And then I do the Punnett square. What are my offspring going to be? And so on. Now, once you have done all of the Punnett squares, then what you're going to do is go down below or go to the sheet here that's got the 4 babies on there, and you are actually going to, all right, sorry about that, I had a little bit of a sneeze there. So then what you're going to do is with those 4 squares, you're going to be filling out for the 4 babies. Now, this is what I recommend you do. You can kind of see here how the 4 babies are set up in almost like a Punnett square layout, okay? So that, you know, if you looked at it like this, you've got your Punnett square. Sorry, my shadow's in the way. So on your Punnett square boxes, whichever one is the top left, you put on this baby. Whatever is on the top right, you put on this one, lower left, and then lower right. So for instance, with the gender one that we did, we would have XX, female here. This one is XX, female here. This one would be XY, male. And this one would be XY, male. And then you go through the other Punnett squares. Again, you get to name this pet and then cut them out. And based on the color here, you're going to, again, glue them onto the colored piece of paper, cut them out again, and then on the back side, give them their characteristics. Now, I know on here it says to create kind of a string and straw mobile type of thing, but you really don't need to do that. You will be turning these in, but not until you've actually done a pedigree for your pets. Okay, there is a video on pedigrees, and then I will explain to you exactly how to do the pedigree for your paper pet.